In the scheme of preventive health checkup, how exactly is this helping? As in, you do it through the hospitals, you do it to the customer directly. How exactly is this product position?
I often say that the purpose of health checkups is not to do health checkups.
So you spoke about a lot of fraud happening in the hospital.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that? I believe you directly started NanoHealth after ISB. Why didn't you choose the job path?
Win Hult Prize from India and ISB.
Wow.
So of course life-changing moment. But yeah, I mean since then basically it was $1 million, a lot of money.
Being a startup, how do you attract talent and what do you look at when you hire people?
So, while attracting talent, I think we have been lucky enough.
Where do you see from an AI implementation standpoint in healthcare specifically, India is standing in comparison to West?
Well, I mean, we see anything AI, the first step is data.
Hi Manish, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming in. So Manish, I would want to start with understanding NanoHealth and what exactly do you do? What is the problem that you're solving in NanoHealth? If you can quickly introduce NanoHealth and help us understand the problem that you're solving.
Thanks, Pradeep. Thanks for having me. I mean, it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you and basically share the story of NanoHealth. Well, healthcare, it has a very long value chain. Okay, from the time someone does a health checkup to someone has to really rush to the hospital, there are many things that happen in between, right? And there's basically when you go to a hospital, what exactly happens? Again, there are many steps that happens outside and inside the hospital. How do you address where many stakeholders are involved, right? So what NanoHealth is trying to do is, bring all these stakeholders in one single digital platform, okay, and then figure out how can it be most efficient. The ecosystem can be most efficient, where every stakeholders knows what to do. Doing is the information, whatever they do is captured, and basically with a complete focus on improving the health of each and every patient.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So towards that we have two brands. One is we call Chatra, where basically we are licensing the technology to help the providers, enable them to be able to provide a very high level of care to their patients. And the second is assurance, where our message, the motto is preventing hospitalization, where we work with large corporates, on their wellness side and improve their health so that the hospitalization can be minimized.
Okay, preventive healthcare, as in that's something quite interesting. Why don't you speak more about preventive healthcare? As in, I see a lot of hospitals having these different packages on health check and all that. Would you want to throw a little more light on this from an industry standpoint?
Right. Well, again, I mean, preventive health term has been around for a while, and basically everyone kind of understands it in their own ways. But yeah, I mean, the goal of preventive health is to basically, identify early on if there is something happening inside our body, right? And then basically, address it, intervene at the right time so that the problem is not aggravated quite a bit, right? So it usually starts with either a screening, which is basically, a low-cost model of reaching out to a lot more people, or let's say health checkups, like you mentioned, different in different setups. It's done, and basically so that we are able to identify if there is some blood markers or urine markers that's telling us a little bit more about our own health and our body. If something is amiss, then timely intervention can be taken before it's too late. I mean, ultimately, of course, all of us have to go to the hospital, but again, the goal is how can we prevent it as long as
Got it.
possible.
Got it. So you spoke about assurance as a product, right?
Yeah.
In the scheme of preventive health checkup, how exactly is this helping? As in, you do it through the hospitals, you do it to the customer directly. How exactly is this product position?
Right. So we work with large organization, large corporates.
Okay.
Right. So imagine, corporate C, right? Usually we do health checkups, but we just do health checkups, right?
Okay.
And I often say that the purpose of health checkups is not to do health checkups, but it is to actually identify, what's wrong with what kind of people and who all, and then take timely intervention. I really believe that all the organization has a huge role to play in preventive health, and I'll explain to you why. If most of the disease that we are talking about is asymptomatic. If I have a pain in my hand,
Right.
I will rush to the hospital, and actually, we are lucky that the best of care is available in the hospital, and thanks to all the great doctors out there. But if I don't have pain,
Right.
if I have just let's say my blood pressure is very high, or my blood sugar is very high, right? I have absolutely no reason to take a step right or left to get it checked or do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
And that is where most of the problems kind of starts, right?
Got it.
Now, why organizations has a huge role to play, right? So we go to work every day, right? There, if it is very comfortable for me, very easy for me, convenient for me to go ahead and get myself tested,
Yeah.
I'll get it tested.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right, but like I said, test happens, reports come. Do you know that most of the 50% of the reports which are brought are never picked up. Okay, because people may come for just check, but more or less, many of them will not even bother to pick up the reports after that.
I can relate to this.
Right.
I can relate to this.
So yeah. So I mean, and then what do you do about it? So basically, this is not for, let's say, everyone, but the goal is again, and that's where what we are able to do is at first to digitize everything, make sure that most of the tests are done through the point of care devices at on site.
Okay.
So we bring in a lot of those point of care devices. We bring in all the blood tests on site,
Yeah.
right? So that it becomes very, very convenient for people to come and get it tested. We also have done a lot of analytics on figuring out who has got it done, who has not got it done, so that we can send a very personalized notification that, hey, why is it important for you to get tested, and so on.
Right.
And once the testing happens, then basically one is of course the digital health for everyone basically goes directly to their apps on the
Right.
insurance app.
Right.
But we don't stop there.
Okay.
We use this information to identify who should go for follow-ups. Right. For example, if my blood sugar is normal, right, HbA1c is normal, right, I don't have to do actually pretty much about it, right. But if it is on the higher side, right, then basically a personalized recommendation is generated and sent directly to the user on their app that, hey, you need a follow-up a GP consultation, or if it's very high, endocrinologist consultation to address the problem that you're facing, right? But still, would you believe most of the people don't go for it, right? But that's where this information is also available to a team of health coaches who basically start nudging them periodically that, hey, this is something that you need to do it. Now again, if you ask these guys that, hey, travel to 15 kilometers and get yourself a consultation, that's never going to happen.
Right.
That's where if you are able to bring most of this care out of hospital care to the organization and provide that, the impact is going to be huge. And we have now been able to create that impact for quite a few organizations. We are seeing that the awareness is increasing. Most of the organizations have some kind of metric to measure overall health and well-being. So yeah, I mean, definitely going in the right direction. But the key message that I want to communicate is, it may look like, we've done a health checkup and it's preventive health is done, but that's the beginning of the journey.
No, in fact, I want to share my personal experience, right? I get this done, and to be very honest, I do it around the taxation period to get the benefit of tax. Because while my parents and back home wife says, yeah, get this done, I don't do it till the taxation period when I have to submit the proofs. I don't do it till then, and then it triggers. यार घर में भी बोल रहे थे, home also it was being told, and I will anyway get the benefit of tax. So let me go now. And after the report, I see couple of values might not be in the right shape, and honestly, I never gave a thought about it or never went back to hospital to get that corrected. So that's when I was saying I can relate to it.
So convenience plays a very, very important role into preventive health, and that's the role of technology, which can bring the care, make it very personalized, and bring the care to you, to wherever in your setting, to wherever you are. And through assurance, that is what we are able to do, basically this long value chain, right? We are able to cover, because another challenge with organizations was that someone was doing health checkup, someone was, the reports are stacked, and then there is doctors which are available, but no one is going and seeing those reports, that what has happened to that reports. So basically we are actually increasing the efficiency of the entire ecosystem.
Absolutely, I think that's commendable for sure. So again, just taking the personal example back, right? One of the reasons why I didn't go to hospital, because one, I was too busy on the work side, because I start my day at 9 in the morning and technically close sometimes around 9:30, 10. Usually at 8.
So for that reason, I'm saying that the organizations have a very, very important role to play. But yeah, please go ahead.
I think then you're solving a problem.
Just imagine a doctor right there. It's very easy for you to, instead of going with a coffee, with the friends, maybe you will take a detour and go to a doctor. So,
absolutely, I can now connect on the problem that you're solving here. Is there a online consulting also, just in case if I'm working from home and not going to office?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Then I think that's an awesome job that you're doing there on the assurance side. Chatra, how exactly is this product positioned, as in what exactly are you solving? How does this operate? Because assurance, I understood, is B2, B2C.
Yeah.
If I may say.
Right.
Yeah. Chatra, if you can help us understand.
So, again, the journey started like many of our doctors who were providing care said that, hey, we don't have any platform like this. To address, to provide care to my own patients which are coming to my clinics, and can you give something like that to us? So, that's when actually, we took a step back and said, it's our responsibility as well that, if we have really put in a lot of effort in building this platform, then why not offer it to the clinics and hospitals to be able to take better care of their patients. And that's where basically the Chatra was born. What we have been able to do this, what is otherwise a very fragmented care, for example, lab. How many times in a hospital also you have picked a lab report and then you're running around and basically showing it to the doctors, or the pharmacy.
Unless the ailment is too critical, you don't really do that.
Right. Or the pharmacy, or what the doctor's prescription. Like many doctors do complain that when the patients would come, they will not carry their file.
Yeah.
Right.
Happens.
So basically, and then what happens as a result of that? Doctors get their consulting fee, but the quality of care is not up to mark. Right? Because you don't have the full history. So that's where, what is otherwise considered like a various fragmented system, like a clinic management system which will do only billing, for example, or hospital information system which will do only billing, to an EMR where all these electronic records will be captured, to an LIS, like which is all the lab data will be captured, to a radiology, where all the radiology reports are, the pharmacy, where all the pharmacy data is there. We have been able to put all of this under one platform.
Wow.
And make sure that any data that is captured once, right, does not have to be entered ever again.
So a patient who has underwent, let's say, some surgery, and there was a medication given, the same patient after 4 years has something around the same surgery, right? Or some issue around it. So the doctor will be able to pull out the reports which was 4 years back and see the whole history of it. Is that what?
Absolutely, just on a click.
Got it.
So basically what we have been able to do is, so recently I was talking to someone today, but still I need to keep, print all my files and keep it somewhere. Should I trust that, or should I trust basically your cloud?
Right.
So, and basically what I said was, you are basically trusting the fire extinguisher system in your hospital more than a digital security layer of leading cloud player, right? So that's the differentiation that you make. So see, in Chatra, basically our goal is enabling providers, elevating care.
Awesome.
Like today, even if you go to the market, it's even if I start my own hospital, again, running a hospital, it's not an easy job.
Yeah.
Many steps, many people are involved. How do you make sure that your patient is always at the top? There's only a way you can do that by getting all the relevant information about that patient, and make sure that the right stakeholders are able to see that information in a way which makes sense for them, so that they can take a right action.
Right.
Today in the market, basically there is no platform is available which captures things from all these various perspectives.
Got it.
So basically, if you divide it, there are three different distinct sets. Like every industry, there is an operational, which is like appointments, and financial.
Right.
But where healthcare becomes way more complicated is when the clinical dimension also comes.
Yeah.
Right. And basically, what we have been able to do is now with enough customers, with more than 5 lakh patient data, I can say that we have been able to kind of put all this together under one umbrella, which is very beneficial to basically each stakeholders. So, for example, we have been able to reduce a lot of fraud that happens in a hospital also.
Whoa.
That only because of a fragmented system, right? But now, since it's an integrated system, at least everything that's happening is at least being viewed by another person / another department. So making those are not very easy. So basically the significant value, people are busier taking decisions and not waiting for reports.
Yeah, I get that. So you spoke about a lot of fraud happening in the hospital.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that?
I can give you examples, right?
Yeah.
So in one of the hospitals that we're working, there are a lot of CGHS patients come.
Sorry?
CGHS, so Central Government Health Scheme. So basically it's like an insurance, which is corporate insurance given by the central government. Basically, we learned later that before our system was kind of deployed there, there is a guy who is manning the whole front desk, would mark most of the patients as a CGHS patient, even if they'll take the money.
Okay.
But they'll mark most of the patients as a CGHS patient. So it effectively means that the processes for all the CGHS patients, there is a separate TPA team that will go ahead and file the claim to CGHS, and then the money comes from the central government.
Got it.
Now, but on that particular day, let's say 100 patients came, and there were 40 over CGHS, but he marked 60 as CGHS.
Okay.
And if you imagine, let's say 1,000 rupees as for every consultation, right? So 20 people extra. He said that it's CGHS, and all that money goes into his pocket, and basically the patient is consulted. Everything happens.
So hospital also doesn't know that this
At that
person.
time, the hospital will get to know when they start filing the claim.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Interesting.
Like, this patient was not even from CGHS.
Man.
Right? And then basically, which in this case was on an average 30 days.
Okay.
And that's too late to even go ahead and figure out what happened, right?
Yeah.
So within first few days, this was caught, and without anyone telling, unfortunately, that guy left.
Oh, that's a big privilege in that sense, and hospital not knowing it is even big problem.
Even we didn't know that can happen, or our system could prevent it.
Right.
Few other things like it has been a service has been booked,
Right. Okay.
right? Money has been taken, but it has not been showing as something booked in the system.
Right. Right.
So a blank page has just been entered.
Right.
Right, and the doctor writes the prescription and all, and the money never went into the system. So, and then we went back and said, okay, at least this our system, we figured that if you add any service, there is no way you can exit without reconciling it, meaning that either you have to pay for it, or you give discount, or many other things.
Right.
So yeah, what I'm trying to say is, in this long value chain with involving multiple stakeholders, humanly it's not possible for anyone to ensure that you are able to know
Right.
or intervene in a timely fashion without having an integrated
Right.
system. So yeah, it has taken a while for us, but I think we have done. The team has done a great job there.
Got it. So I think there are a couple of players in the market already who help hospitals on these lines, right?
Sure.
So how different are you when we compare you with other competitors? I don't want to name them, but up to you. How do you want to position and help us understand how is NanoHealth different from those guys?
So 90% of our deployments of Chatra is redeployments. Some existing players are already there, and then we basically go and they're not happy with the current system, the platform,
Okay.
and then we go and deploy our system.
Right.
So the main challenges or main differentiator, I would say, is we are by far the most comprehensive platform. It's like you call it modules, or it call it the solutions which are required. It's like a whole suite, right?
Right.
But again, what makes healthcare very different from, let's say, financial industry is it's very unstructured.
Yeah.
Every clinic, every hospital works in a completely different way, and it's very, very hard to say that hey, this is right or that is wrong.
Right.
And basically, I would say that in healthcare, again, you have to follow what the final word is by the doctor.
By the dog. Yeah. Agree.
Right? No one can ultimately challenge that.
Correct.
While we talk about process, we talk about ultimately his and there is actually, when I went deeper and tried to understand or at times challenge, right, and there's nothing right or wrong about it. Absolute right or wrong about it. What is, and so in those scenarios you have to follow it. So what I'm trying to say is every clinic, every hospital, every specialty is a unique ecosystem in itself.
Right.
So one platform, whatever platform you may have, if you just give it out there, it's not going to work, right?
Got that. Yeah.
That's where basically we would say that we are not only the most comprehensive, but we are also the most configurable. So from day zero, when we started building the platform, and of course we have gone through multiple iterations, we made it very modular, so that you can pretty much pick and choose and create your own setup. So imagine a Lego kit. I mean, you want to create a lion with it or a car with it. I mean, both are basically possible. So today, a single doctor clinic is using the platform, and a 200-bedded hospital is also using the platform.
Wow.
And to each one of them, it looks like the whole platform is designed only for them.
So you basically customize basis the requirement of the clinic or the hospital who
I
wants to
use
use.
the word configure.
Configure, yeah.
And basically, it's a do it yourself system. And basically, we are saying that you don't even have to come to me.
Fantastic.
Right, so
Fantastic.
you can do it by yourself, right? But that's what is the capability, and that's where we believe it's very hard to replicate it in so easily. Yeah.
Coming from business development
Yeah.
background, I can clearly see this will enhance the customer satisfaction at the end user level.
Yeah.
Let's say I go to a clinic or a hospital on a regular basis, and I don't have to strive for those old reports, which I don't know where it was. It is at home.
Yeah.
Is it even there or not? I don't know.
Absolutely.
So I can just walk in and me being regular there as a patient, they have all the history.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great tool that you are kind of providing to the hospitals. Awesome. So Manish, I want to take a step back here at this juncture, because you spoke a lot of technology usage, solving a problem on the B2B2C and then B2B as a business model, right? So technology and healthcare industry, how did this happen? You want to throw more light on, if you can go into your background, where are you from and why did you pick up this domain? What was the education you did? Are you a doctor by profession or did you study something else? I want to understand that in depth.
Okay. I'm not a doctor. My dad is.
Okay.
So I'm from Bihar. I mean, where when I was growing up, basically there are only two choices: either you become an engineer or a doctor.
Right.
My dad was a very hardworking, very good doctor. He said that I don't have time for you, so I don't want that. You should be the same to, let's say, your kid. So why don't you become an engineer instead?
Right.
And I was like, okay, sure, done. So I went to IIT, studied at IIT Bombay.
Wow.
Right, and after that, joined a company called I2 Technologies, right out of that. Traveled around the world, worked for some of the marquee clients, whom we all know, big names. Helped them in the supply chain, making the whole entire process more and more efficient, and using technology to do that. Right, and of course now and then I'll come back to my dad's hospital.
Okay.
And I'll observe, see what's happening, and I was like, hey Dad, we do all of this, we do that, I think some of that we should do it at our own hospital as well.
Right.
And but that whole thing kind of kept growing. I think something can be done. I mean, I didn't like. So, for example, I would see that patients are waiting for hours together,
Right.
while my dad is talking to me. I mean, because I have come after months. I don't like that. Right? I think there has to be a better way to do it. But
Makes
then
sense.
of course, figured he's a good doctor. I mean, people really love him, so they're happy to wait for him. But still, of course, it's very, it's not convenient, right? One fine day, similar days, he came back. I remember that around 1 a.m. in the night, and he was having his dinner. I told him, Dad, I saw your hospital. I think this can be better, that can be better. We can improve the whole. I do already for large organizations in different industries, but the logic is same over here as well. So let's. I think we should do that. And he was listening, and then he was like, you know what? I am a clinician. Let me do my job. If you think you can do any better, why don't you do it yourself? And then, of course, I went mum at that time, but basically I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, he's what he's saying is right. I mean, why should he be bothered about all the management that is required to run the operations, the finances within the hospital? Right, and basically that's when in few months I kind of quit my work, came to ISB to study healthcare management. I think it was second year cohort of ISB, and the idea was that I'll go back and in Bihar start maybe a chain of hospitals.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
but we won a competition. We participated in a competition called Hult Prize. And
I was reading this.
Yeah.
You're the only Indian who won this till now. Is that right? Indian team.
who
Yeah, yeah.
won,
Indian team.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, but I wish more Indian teams would have won, should have. I mean, and I'm sure they'll win. But yeah, so far we continue to be the only one. This was back in 2014 when we won. So President Clinton in US gave us $1 million to solve
Yeah.
the problem of non-communicable disease.
In fact, my team has shown that to me
Yeah.
while they came out with research.
Right.
Hult Prize. I was like, wow. Then we are speaking to the right guest.
Right. Well, yeah.
And also interesting that you went to IIT Bombay, where most of the entrepreneurs today in India, if we see, come from IIT Bombay. And ISB, another big name there, which stands in the global schools, likes of Stanford, Harvard. And now we see where you're coming from and the product that you are bringing with your personal experience backing it.
Right. I mean, yeah, of course, I think for every entrepreneur, their life journey definitely adds to the, entrepreneurship, what they
Right.
do. And I mean, I really believe that entrepreneurship is tough enough that if you're not, anyone who is not like totally immersed in it,
Right.
I mean, it'll become much harder
Right,
otherwise.
right.
So that has
Sorry
been my
to
journey.
cut. Sorry to cut. I wanna go back and because a lot of viewers that we have aspire to go to IIT, ISB. Why don't you share your experiences at both the campuses? Maybe we'll start with IIT Bombay and how did IIT Bombay happen? How did you crack it? And life at IIT Bombay, if you can speak about that.
Well, cracking, I think it's, I would say, a lot of studies, I think, which everyone would know, right? And I think, of course, curriculum is changing every year. So, but ultimately it comes down to, at that time, I had a target of studying 10 hours every day. And for, let's say, years together. So, that kind of consistency is what I would say that matters. I think there are a lot of smart people out there, but I think only smartness doesn't get you, so with grind is definitely,
Right.
which is relevant, right? And basically, so amazing people, right? And I think amazing friends. I was very lucky to have friends who are friends for life, basically, right?
Right.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me from IIT was confidence,
Confidence. Okay.
right? So because all my friends, basically who are in my class, they are doing such amazing things, right? So on your low day, you're like, hey, if they can do it, so can I. And I think,
Yeah.
and of course, very encouraging, very supportive as well, right? So I think that has been my biggest, learning and takeaway from IIT. After that, I did realize that I have to do. The moment I decided that I want to do something in healthcare,
Right.
I was not a doctor. I had no prior healthcare experience.
Right.
So I said, okay, some kind of stamp will give a little bit more credibility to. And of course, I wanted to take a break from work. So, and that's where I want to do something in India, so that there was, of course, no better choice than ISB, and especially when I found that they have a very focused course on healthcare. So that's where I joined
Right.
again. I pretty much shared my life's experience, and looks like they kind of liked it. And again, amazing people, amazing teachers. One thing I will say about ISB is like everything around you in ISB is basically is trying to help you to learn more.
Right.
And that's a very unique trait, I would say, and kind of amazing as well, right? So that's there, but yeah, I mean, I've got quite a bit from ISB because Hult Prize happened after that, and my life changed after ISB. So, yep.
Yeah, going to these big schools or brand like IIT or ISB is a dream come true for a lot of people. So what was your mind frame at that stage? Maybe you wanna answer first IIT and then about ISB, and then because a regular Indian or a regular aspirant who wants to go there typically thinks, if I go there, I get X package. That's a typical mindset. What was yours is what I wanted to understand.
I mean, I didn't have a package in mind, but basically, again, I think upbringing in Bihar, plays some role where what you want is that you want your life to be more stable. Right, so I think that was definitely that. Once you go there, at least not about forget about the package, but at least you can be confident enough to get a job.
Right.
Right. I think, and plus, that's the best that was to offer when I was at IIT. Right. And I think that was pretty much the mindset at that time. I mean, we don't know much. You haven't seen much. I mean, that something is out there, which is like a big shiny thing. But only when you go there and what you do with it is what really matters. I mean, like I said, when I look back when I was working, I mean, I was getting bored at work also. I mean, it was good work, but then I saw, hey, all these friends are doing such amazing things. Why can't I?
Manish, you spoke about your experience in Japan. I wanted to understand how do India stand from a healthcare and tech standpoint in comparison to West?
So, when I decided that I wanted to, spend my time in healthcare, right, I started looking things everywhere. And of course, US being one of the leading spender in healthcare. So,
right.
So I observed and tried to understand that a lot more. Some interesting facts, right? So US is the largest economy. Of the largest economy is the largest spender in healthcare. They spend like 17% of their overall budget, GDP, in healthcare.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in respect to that, we in India spend. I mean, now it is increasing. It's close to 4% now.
Right.
Right. So still, the challenge of coordination still looms very large, even in US. Okay, and if you go ahead and see that, is it really as good as the money being spent? I think I can say with a lot of confidence the answer is no. Okay, and if you look, try to understand why, right?
Sure.
So I think in 1990 onwards, the digitization journey kind of started over there, right? So everything is digitized. But digitized doesn't mean, it just means that something was on paper now has moved to computers, right? But that doesn't create the impact,
Okay.
right? We have been saying, it is a long value chain, like a lot of engagement is required and all of that. Now that is kind of missing, still missing over there. Another fact, the largest cause of hospital-related deaths is hospital-acquired infection, even in US. So what I'm trying to say basically is, I think at least in healthcare, in many ways I have observed that the money spent is not directly proportional to basically the impact in that. Of course, I mean, it helps. So it's still a long way to go, and the biggest challenge even in US today is care coordination.
Right.
Right. When it comes to India, right, I mean, we are still in an early stage where the digitization is basically getting started, right? But looking at everything that's happening, even in India, I'm fairly confident that, India, just like in telecom, and we may start late, but we'll catch up very, very fast.
Yeah, that's.
I think still a lot to be done. Like the government has launched a few programs like ABDM, and it's amazing. But the implementation of that is still kind of not up to mark.
Okay.
In terms of adoption, I would say, I mean, government is trying to figure out ways to do it. But still, efforts needs to be put in over there. I mean, some innovation from the government side is required over there to make it really either enhance or accelerate the adoption of that.
Right.
But I do see that the people are demanding now, and that's where which is pushing even the private hospitals to kind of accelerate their game on the digital side.
Right.
So all I can tell you is that while we always knew that the doctors are the best, even in US, if you're an Indian hand of Indian doctors, you can be fairly confident that he'll do a good job, and the same is in India as well. So. I think we do have a best of the doctors in the country. We do have, good hospitals over there over here in India. The only thing I can ask for is, I mean, if the coordination can be done better, then we'll see, much more impact than what we have seen in the past.
Right. In fact, one of the things that I can relate, a lot of friends who are in West. And that's a beauty, I believe. People usually come back to India, get the treatment done, and then go back to US again.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Why do you think is this a reason? As in, is it only the cost of it, or is there something else to it?
Right. So I mean, cost is definitely one factor. I mean, over here it's at least 10 to 20 times more expensive over there. I mean, in US, and especially for some of the things which is not covered by insurance.
Right.
They are definitely, that plays a big role.
Okay.
Right. And basically, if you're able to get the same quality of care at a much lower cost, and while you are here, you're basically coming home.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's maybe the reason why people are doing as you're suggesting.
How I see is maybe it's economical at the same time quality treatment which is available here.
I mean, I won't say that the quality is bad in West, right? I mean, like it's at par, but that's it. I mean, lower cost and at par treatment, so then why not?
So similar treatment at a much
lower
better price.
Much lower cost.
Cost.
Yeah.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So coming back to your journey, so you went to IIT, went to Japan, experienced international market, saw their healthcare systems and all that. Now you've gone to ISB because you wanted to get into healthcare.
Right.
That's what I remember you told
Yes.
earlier. So if you can help us understand how was your life in ISB and what really did you pick up from ISB, while ISB is an aspirational school for a lot of Indians
Right.
and people abroad as well. You want to throw more light there? How was your life and what did you learn?
Right. No, ISB is a great place. So, see, the best thing that any of us can do to ourselves, if you really want to learn and grow, is to put ourselves in the group or cohort of good people.
Right.
Right. And I mean, just like IIT, I was lucky enough that ISB also we had a cohort like that. I mean, truly selected people. One big difference that I saw from IIT versus the ISB, IIT was like all about tech and engineering and so on. At ISB, I saw people from all walks of life, and the grade at whatever they have done in the past.
Okay.
So basically, gave me personally an opportunity to learn and embrace and appreciate a lot different aspects of life. Correct. So having said that, it's a 51. It's called a 51-week roller coaster. Very like a busy life. But yeah, I mean, like I was mentioning that everything over there basically helps you to learn more.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So right from the messaging that comes from the dean all the way till every security guard is you feel that is there just to help you. Can you learn more? Can you learn more and more and
Right.
more? So yeah, I mean, professors are amazing. They understand what you're going through, while they are the best at not only in India, worldwide, right? At whatever subjects they are at. So you can really go ahead and basically share your perspective and you will get the best feedback, and that gives a lot of confidence in everything that we want to do, right? And that's where basically, so I think, the biggest advantage of these best colleges are that, you get a lot of confidence and perspective that you can also do it. Right, and basically you not only that, you also get a lot of support. Right. So I'm in touch with quite a few professors, and basically, who help us. We have been able to to publish a few papers with these professors, about the new things that we are doing. So yeah, overall, just amazing, life-changing experience, right? So yeah, I really wish that more and more people can study there, and without compromising on the quality of the education that it offers.
That's great. In fact, I want to share my personal experience. I've studied from a B school, which is not technically that hard to get into in comparison with ISB, but I at a later point in time, after 5 years of my experience, I went to ISB as well for a retail program. Nice. It's an executive program. Yeah. I love the vibe. As in, one of the core differences that a regular MBA college versus ISB was that, one, the peer network is like next level. Right. You clearly get that feeling that you're sitting with brightest of the brightest in the class, and professors. I saw professors flying from US, somebody teaching at NYU Stern is there in front of you and teaching you. And so network for sure, and the kind of experience that you get within the class, and overall learning is very, very different, case based, and very unique feeling. I would recommend anybody wanting to go to ISB should go to ISB.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, moving to your choices after ISB, right? I believe you directly started NanoHealth after ISB. Why didn't you choose the job path?
Right. So basically, that's very interesting. So every B school, hundreds of competition keeps happening within ISB as well. And one of these classes, I was coming back and I saw a poster of Bill Clinton. Right, and then below that there was one with quite a few zeros. I had to stand there and count, there was 6 zeros with $1 in front. I was like, wow, something interesting. I'm like, oh, what is it? So, I saw it was a promotion for Hult Prize, and saying that, if you can come up with a problem, a solution to the problem of non-communicable diseases in urban slums, you will be able to basically, that was the competition.
Okay.
Right. So, and I was like, when I went to ISB, I knew that I wanted to get into healthcare.
Right.
It was a completely different side, which was in hospitals, but so this is worth a shot. Right. So that's when basically we formed a team, we presented, we were selected in the best team within ISB. Then we went to Sao Paulo for our regionals. There also we were selected as the team to participate in the finals of Hult Prize.
Okay.
So Hult Prize is the largest student competition in the world.
Right.
It's an idea competition, and basically, at that time, every one team would get $1 million, and this is one out of 11,000 teams that were participating worldwide. So, and we kept, winning one stage at once. So it's a year-long competition.
Right.
And, that's when basically we took I took a call that, it's worth the effort or the risk, right? And that's where, jobs, we're fairly confident that we can get after that as well. But, at least this stab at entrepreneurship, and when someone, like a Hult Prize and $1 million, it was enticing enough. So when we graduated from ISB, we had 1 in 6 chance to win Hult Prize.
1 in 6?
Yeah, so we were the final 6 teams, and had to go there.
Okay.
And that's when me and another friend of who in the team, basically he chose to postpone his joining, and I chose to let's just focus on this for the next 6 months.
And that's what we did. Of course, lots of ups and downs, but we finally managed to win it. We continue to be the only team to win Hult Prize from India and ISB.
Wow.
So of course, life-changing moment, right? But yeah, I mean, since then, basically, it was $1 million, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, we will win the world. I mean, little did I know that non-communicable disease is such a big challenge that $1 million is like a small drop. But yeah, I mean, I think we have of course come a long way since then, and yeah, I mean, proud of the journey that we have had.
Right, right. So I want to ask about non-communicable diseases, but before that, you 1 in 6 chances you said, right? Can you tell us about what were the other teams? Where are they from?
Right. So a couple of teams were from US. A couple of teams were. One team was from Canada. One team was from Europe. One team was from Philippines. Right. So basically, one team was trying to detect bees to identify whether someone has diabetes or not.
Okay.
Right. One team was solving the problem of wound, by pumping, sucking, so wound pump is what they were manufacturing. The other team was trying to identify an easier, cheaper method to identify diabetes.
Okay.
So there's another team from South Africa. So they were, using the gum to reduce heart problems. So
Right.
basically, everyone did come up with their own very unique solutions.
Right.
We said that if you really want to solve the problem of non-communicable disease, solving any one aspect is not going to make a huge impact. So maybe you screen a lot of people, millions and millions of people.
Right.
You tell that, hey, you out of all the people, you have, let's say, diabetes. I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, he is not going to hospital after that.
Right.
And so it really doesn't matter. But can I go ahead and nudge him to go to our right hospital?
Yeah.
Can I go ahead and nudge that, even after the doctor has written a medication, you keep taking medicine for something you don't feel anything.
Right,
Because
right,
it may
right.
impact you in the future. Right? So these are some real challenges with non-communicable disease, and that was our solution. And we said that all of this has to be on a tech.
Right.
Because there's no way manually you can scale this.
Yeah.
And that was the vision. We did that, we solved that.
So this was in the Hult.
Right. So
Prize
we won the
competition.
competition for that.
So I think asking this, and when you were speaking about you were competing with teams from Canada, Africa, US, I'm getting a different feeling.
Yeah.
What was your feeling when you won it? And I think you were taking a award from Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. How were you feeling, and what was the discussion in the team back on the stage there?
Well, I mean, we did have our own Bollywood moment on the stage as well while presenting. But yeah, I mean, this is a once in a lifetime moment. I still get goosebumps. I still,
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's of course a lot of hard work had gone into it. We did everything that we could to win at that point of time. Basically we were lucky enough. I mean, we did know that we were the best solution out there. But from there to even pitch and to actually the judges thinking the same thing was a big deal. I mean, naturally, we were, I think there was 7 weeks accelerator, and everyone, you guys are not so good at pitching. Right?
Okay.
But then
Okay.
we had 3-4 weeks, so we really worked hard. The entire team basically kind of worked very hard. I mean, one of the team members, I remember waking him up in the morning, and and he wakes up and like, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," right? So basically, that's the kind of preparation we had done, and
Right.
that definitely bore fruit.
But yeah, I mean, the real journey started after that, right? I mean,
Got it.
like I always, I do believe that money is not going to solve all the problems within healthcare.
Right.
Right. So basically, 3-4 years we did work in those slums. So the money was that you had to solve the problem of non-communicable disease in urban slums.
Yeah. So I want to stop you here. And non-communicable disease, right?
Right.
Why don't you explain what is non-communicable disease?
Yeah.
Because that's something that is hitting hard on my head.
Right.
I'm sure people who are seeing this, they also might have the same question.
Right.
Explain what is non-communicable disease?
Right. So, I mean, all of us have gone through COVID.
Yeah.
So, what you can communicate easily is called communicable disease.
Right.
But things like diabetes, hypertension, and cancer, right? You can't just transfer or give it. So it's very hard to. I mean, those are called non-communicable disease.
Mm-hmm.
So, like heart diseases, etc., are called non-communicable disease. So, yeah, I mean, that was a challenge, and the way you go about solutioning.
So should I say cancer, heart, or cardiac issues?
Diabetes.
And diabetes.
Yeah.
What others come into this?
Non-communicable. They're all non-communicable disease.
What others would be part of this? If you can just list it down so that.
I mean, these are the more like asthma,
Okay.
pulmonology disease, COPD. That's also a non-communicable disease. But basically, and they account for most of the deaths, premature deaths.
Right.
Right. Others are of course communicable, like viral. What we
Right.
say, like influenza, right? COVID. I mean, these are all communicable diseases.
I remember somewhere I read about 63% of deaths happen because of non-communicable disease. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, 2/3 of death is what it is claimed to, like premature deaths.
Okay.
So death is one our normal life, and we die at the end.
Right,
But
right.
what these diseases are, the engine diseases. So basically, they accelerate the degeneration of our body.
Okay.
Right, and because of that, we die a lot earlier than what we would do otherwise. So that's what that's what it is, and that was the mandate. That the impact was, it was thought that only the rich and with a very different life, good lifestyle people are dying.
Right.
But then even in they figured that even in poor community, the deaths were at the similar rates.
Got it.
And that's where basically the whole challenge came up, that it has to, how do you solve, while so-called diabetes clinic and the good hospitals for richer people, what happens to the poorer people, right?
Right.
And that's where basically the whole when we started, the idea was that how do you help the poor community with in addressing this challenge.
So you were very clear that you're not going to take up job, you're going to take up healthcare as an industry and do it. And Hult Prize kind of accelerated that towards your goal. Is that how I put it across?
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of
Sure.
things stars have to align for something like
Right,
this to happen.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that's where you embarked on the journey of entrepreneurship.
Journey of NanoHealth, journey of entrepreneurship. Yes.
Yeah. So how did you start? I think take us through your journey, and then we understood the start of it. This is where you won the prize, and you kind of had that opportunity to start. So you already have money in hand. So this became your seed funding.
Correct.
This
Yes.
became your seed funding, and that's where you started. If you can help us walk through, and how many more rounds have you raised? Have you even raised or not?
Right.
And what were the challenges that you have come across during the process?
Right. So basically, when we started, so we started working on solution. We soon figured that tech has to play a very important role if you really want to
Right.
solve the problem at scale. We started building our own tech. We use that tech to basically screen people, risk profile them, then make sure that they're able to reach the doctor and they are able to follow up with
Right.
them. Then even the compliance in terms of let's say periodic consultation, follow-up consultation, or even the medication, right? I mean, that's also done.
Right, so we started with charging like 100 rupees per user per month
Sure.
for the people in urban slums, right? But beyond a certain point, we did realize how we published a papers along with Professor ISB, very good results. But then we did realize that preventive health and and lower star of the society. Basically, it's you can't make a sustainable business out of it.
Right.
I mean, and one of the ideas of Hult Prize also was charity is not enough. I mean, there has to be business behind it. So we always
Right.
wanted to build a business which is, while scalable and impactful, but also sustainable.
Right.
Right. So that's when basically we started moving, kind of away from only the bottom of the pyramid segment. Because we did realize even the best of us do not care about us like the way we were doing it for the bottom of the pyramid.
Right.
So that's when we started moving to corporates.
Got it.
And helping their people like employees with again doing the health checkups, then risk profiling them, and then making sure that we are nudging them for a very targeted follow up, and that also had a huge impact. Sure, and that we continue to do through our brand assurance.
Got it. So you started from slums, then moved towards corporates, so that you have revenue coming in.
Right. So I mean, it was so basically, and that that kind of continued for the first few years, right? And basically after that, we also realized that our doctors who were providing care to the employees, they said, hey, we don't have any system like the way you are asking us to use to give it to your patients. So can we also have another system like this for our own patients? So that's when the Chatra was born. So we re-architected a little bit. So
Customized solution for hospitals,
right.
clinics.
Yes. So that's where basically I very proudly say that today what we're using is the 5th version of our own platform.
Wow.
So four basically architectures we had to say that this is not scalable enough.
So one thing which I'm noticing from the conversation, or I'm taking away from this conversation, is that you started with a problem, which is at the bottom of the pyramid.
Correct.
And then you realize that this is across the pyramid, and then you started moving upwards so that there's monetization happening.
Absolutely.
Right. And you also started in the process solving clinics or hospitals problem,
right.
Which was an opportunity from a business standpoint again.
Sure.
And that became another revenue channel for your organization. Is that how it is?
Absolutely. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
So so basically, that's why you also asked about funding.
Because why am I sort of picking these points and reiterating is because viewers who are wanting to start something of their own, right? This kind of becomes a lesson or a takeaway for them from this conversation. And I would like you to sort of help us with more insights like these, where viewers can kind of take these away and think on the problems that they are wanting to solve, especially in the healthcare segment, and the opportunities that they might want to use and build their own platforms or solutions for the healthcare ecosystem as a whole.
Right. So there are a few, having spent enough time, within the healthcare, entrepreneurship, I can say a few things. Again,
sure.
Healthcare is a long value chain. There's a lot of stakeholders that are involved in it, right? And solving one problem for one stakeholder may not be the market big enough for that, right? So what people are looking for is a solution, is not a device or not a tool, right? So it makes a lot of sense to collaborate with the like-minded people.
Sure.
Okay, in healthcare, for various reasons, people do not collaborate, right? And which is one reason why I see some great, amazing people, amazing companies have not scaled to the extent which they should have. Right. So collaboration is key, right? No one can understand it end to end. We have also learned it the hard way.
Right.
Right, basically, and people are looking for solutions, right? So it doesn't matter, how they kind of get it, right?
Right. Right.
So no one should basically try to do everything, because it kind of doesn't work, right? But at the same time, if you go with like-minded people, and as an organization, go as a set of organizations also go with a complete solution, people are more likely to embrace it than otherwise.
Got it. So collaboration is the key.
Is key in healthcare.
Get the solution, and then try collaborating with like-minded people or with the ecosystem, which will help you accelerate the growth.
Absolutely. So a very simple example: any device you take, when it measures something, right?
Right.
It will tell you something is good or bad.
Yeah.
Correct. Whether
Yeah.
it's good or bad. Right. Based on that, a doctor. Now, how does a doctor see that report? A doctor is already full of so many reports.
Yeah.
There's one more report if I see. Okay. So and then he can write a prescription, for example, based on that. What happens next? If any device is just used once, that may or may not be good enough, right? Can I bring the person back after 3 months again to see it?
Yeah.
Correct. See, and when you go back and see very fundamentally,
Right.
see, all our mind is very transactional.
Right.
Healthcare is not. Our body is not.
Right. Yeah.
Right. For a doctor, for example, a patient that is sitting in front is a transaction, in the sense that I am providing a care to you.
Right.
Right. And of course, they do the best job. But what happens after that?
Right.
Right. Who is responsible for that? Is it only you? But you are not knowledgeable enough or equipped enough to take that decision.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's where basically, there has to be an ecosystem play, and not, basically it's like a transaction base. So, and that's basically we have also, it has been years together to kind of understand and come to these conclusions. So that's where the way I say it is, we capture everything that happens operationally, everything that happens financially, and everything that happens clinically.
Got it.
Right. And then basically they use that information to recommend that what next should happen.
Sure.
Right. So I think
But here again, one thing again, me being in the business development domain
Right.
for about 14 plus years, and reaching out to the market, I understand the problems on the GTM side, because I see a lot of people, a lot of tech kids who are fresh out of IIT come out with, or non-IIT also, not that only IIT, non-IIT, anybody with product in hand. They find it hard to get customers. They find it hard to go to market and get that paying customer to them.
Right.
So, how was there a challenge like this for you? How did you solve this?
Absolutely. So you being in a business development, you know that the market doesn't care about anyone.
Oh yeah.
Right. So basically, so like everyone, we have gone through our own journey, and I still remember I'll go and talk to HRs like, hey, you do this today. You are just doing health checkups, and that has no impact.
Right.
Very little impact. But if you do a good follow up, and with the doctors and very targeted follow up, the engagement will be much higher, and the impact will be much lower.
Right.
And most of it was before COVID, and then we'll get like almost no response, or very little. Why should in a way that not in so many crude words, like why do I care?
Yeah.
Right. And I had I very vividly remember 3 sleepless nights. I'm like, how can people not care? Earlier, okay, I accept that there was no solution, but I am standing here giving you the solution. Then still, why are you not acting on it?
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's where basically, the downside of innovation overall. Right. The cost of not doing anything is not that high.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Or embracing is not that high. Right. So I think that was the key, and then basically, personally, let the solution be so good.
Yeah.
that users should not have difficulty in selecting.
Why don't you share one of your, as in the first product sale that you did, that experience? How did it happen?
Basically, we are saying that a very leading pharma company over here, and we are pitching to the CEO there, and we said, "Oh, we are doing this for slums. This is the impact. We have been able to reduce average blood sugar levels, average blood pressure levels." And he said, "US point blank, it will not work."
Okay, point blank.
Point blank, yeah.
Oh, he didn't even care about the hard work that you put in.
Again, let's be honest. Anyone, of course, we
That's how the
want
market
that
is.
to people be empathetic and all that. But having gone through it, I believe that that message is more better than someone saying no, don't worry, you will do it, and all. Because that itself takes another few months time. If you say, oh, it can't be done, you start thinking for a plan B a lot earlier than otherwise.
Right.
So I think that's the reason. And and why no, people will not pay for it and things like that. He was right there. No, we'll make it work and all of that, right? So we, of course. But he gave us an opportunity to work with his one set of employees. And,
Okay.
But when we showed the impact,
Right.
that is when the conversion basically started happening.
Got it.
So one thing I would want to say is we have to give more opportunities to the innovators, the founders, the entrepreneurs of trying.
Right.
And that's
right.
where I do believe that some of the cities like Bangalore has done a lot more than other cities, let's say,
Right.
like Hyderabad.
Right.
Everyone is ready to buy a fully baked, but whatever helps in that journey, goes a long way.
Right.
And in healthcare, since the journey is longer, it becomes kind of more important. Yeah.
One core thing probably which I can relate again to your point on speaking to the pharma client and then converting them, and that's how you started. Across my journey being in business development, I realized one clear thing, that knock more doors.
Yeah.
While you might have fantastic product,
Right.
how will the person on the other side know that you have a fantastic product?
Absolutely.
Unless he uses it or touches and feels it.
Absolutely.
So you got to knock more doors. Otherwise, you're not going to get that breakthrough. Because you, even for, let's say your product being strong,
Right.
how will you tell market? You should have those 2-3 customers who speak about your product.
Right.
And that's when more clients, more leads will come in, is how I see it.
So, I would like to put it a different twist. I understand what you're saying.
Sure.
See, all of us play to our strengths.
Yeah.
If I see a problem, the way I say, I can understand the problem.
Yeah.
So I talk to my customers and say, hey, why are you using our solution? I know that we are not the cheapest. Why are you still using it? Most of the time the response is, oh, you understand our problem. Because most of the tech guys don't even understand. So I'm saying that, so our strength is that, we can understand the problem and not only understand, but we can also solve it. Come up with a solution and basically solve that, right? What you are saying is your strength is you have wider reach. You can talk to more people, right? And that's where...
My point was, you can customize to the problem that they have and solve the problem. To even tell that, you have to reach to that person, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. No, but that doesn't come on day one. The ability to configure. And a very simple thing, I would say, that, we built, we're working with diabetes, right? So we said, okay, diabetes, then we said hypertension. Then someone said, oh, no, there are more cancers also we have to do. So we added more, technically more fields to do it, right? But then we realized that, hey, there is no end to it. Every time we go, people are asking for more, information to be captured. So then we took a step back and basically said, hey, we can't keep doing this, adding more and more fields like that. So, as a solution to that, what we did, we created completely dynamic form builder
Okay.
in
Okay.
our application.
Sure.
So imagine Google Forms for healthcare.
Right. Right.
Now it's like, any data you want to capture.
Yeah.
We support more fields than even Google Form support. 47 types of fields we support. Any data you want to capture, you can just create it on the fly
Right.
and basically, start doing
Tech
it.
enabled.
Yeah. So completely. I mean, you
Got
can
it.
do it yourself.
Got it. Got it.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is now just to understand that. For us, it took a few years to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But that's how the world is.
You're in the business for like what, a decade now?
Yeah. So I mean, and basically, we are very proud of the journey and
Right.
our understanding, the team.
I'm sure you would have had a lot of ups and downs.
Of course, I mean that's the fun part, right?
So, in fact, a question that is in my head right now. One, we spoke on Hult Prize. That was one funding that you got. And what are the other fundings? Did you even had more fundings that you picked up? And interlinked with this, Hyderabad and Bangalore, which you kind of took names in the
Right.
conversation. Why Hyderabad? Why not Bangalore? Why did you choose Hyderabad to start with? Is it because of ISB or something else? Because I see people keep saying in startup ecosystem, yeah, I would prefer Bangalore because I will be easily able to raise money there
Right.
versus Hyderabad.
Absolutely.
I want to understand why you chose Hyderabad and how was your funding? Where did you get it from, or how many series if you have picked up?
Yeah, maybe we are not in a business of raising funds. Right. So I mean, we all, of course, at times we get I mean, one thing I really believe, having gone through the journey, that it was the right decision to be here in Hyderabad. I think there are good people, very focused on the work that they are doing. In Bangalore, while there's a lot of funding, the costs are very high. The problem remains the same.
Yeah.
Right, and everyone has to go through the same grind. There's no shortcuts there. I mean, right, especially when it comes to healthcare, which is as complex as it gets. Right, there's no shortcuts.
Right.
So you have to go through the same grind. You have to reiterate and so on, which takes time. Right. And for that, I really believe that Hyderabad was good, because while the good people were available, there's a lot more stable. There's no running around like in Bangalore. Or let's say the more time was spent working than in traffic. Or right, so basically, yeah. So those were the advantages of Hyderabad, and plus the ecosystem in terms of ISB was very helpful. I mean, we spent a lot of time in IIT as well, so that was
Okay.
also there. Then T-Hub came, and that was also support was some support was there. So all of that. I mean, this is still growing. I mean, definitely not close to the maturity level that we have in Bangalore, but I think definitely it's growing. I mean, just as a comparison, someone told me that hey, if you really want to sell to people in Hyderabad, I think you have to be successful everywhere else. Then you come, people will kind of buy it, and that got to change. And that was like, no, there has to be a better way of doing things in Hyderabad. And I feel bad that I'm very proud of having done this in Hyderabad, and we really built something. We just opened our offices in Middle East and US as well. So we have done something. I mean, we are going to
Wow.
take this across the world as well, right? So yeah. So, and on the funding side, right? See, we knew that in somewhere that is going to be a long haul. I mean, not for any other reason, because it's just so damn complex.
Right.
Correct. We also understood that if I pick one sliver of the ecosystem, we may not have a big enough market.
Right.
We have seen so many people raise money saying, "Oh, diabetes is a big problem." I mean, but there is a need, but is there enough demand? Are there
Right.
people ready to pay for it?
Yeah.
So that's where this whole ecosystem made a lot more sense for us.
Sure.
Right. And so basically we knew that it was long haul. So I knew, so that's where we were we wanted to always have a patient capital.
Okay.
Right. We are always making some revenue.
Like COVID was, of course, I mean, just like any healthcare company, we made like a good, created a huge impact and,
Nice.
and good money as well over there. So we are always like never like a zero revenue for the except the first few years, right? But basically, and we knew that what steps to take. I mean, somewhere we believe that these are the right steps to take. So somewhere our customers were kind of funding, our growth. But now that where we are, right, having the solutions, having the real people using the solution and paying a premium for it,
Yeah.
we are really ready to scale.
Right.
So a lot of now the journey was a lot of bootstrap money had gone in. I was lucky enough to do good work, and my employers were good enough to pay good money, and of course. But then we also did raise some angel round where
Sure.
like, including quite a few professors at ISB. And a lot of supportive people who understood the mission and someone who has used the solutions. I mean, they have kind of pitched in and invested. But now is the time I think we're ready for some serious money.
Wow. So would you be okay sharing on the seed capital or angel capital that you raised? How much was it, and what really went into it, as in terms of hard work or reaching out to people to seek that investment? Because that's one problem that people out there wanting to start find it difficult.
No, I mean, see, there are two things. We were always, thankfully, Hult Prize was good enough to say that, hey, pay us enough that the solution works. The solution works for, let's say, one startup people.
Right.
But
right.
there are different startup people who look at the same thing in a completely different way.
Got it.
Right. We wanted to continue to invest because we clearly saw two different segments. One
Sure.
was, where B2B2C, where we're working with organizations and improving their health, versus, the whole tech licensing piece, Chatra, that I was mentioning. So these two were like, a lot of investors came and said, hey, why are you guys are doing too many things?
Yeah.
And I really believed every time that, if you do any one of them, you're not sustainable enough.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to have, these levers, and that's when we found, I found my current, partner, Dr. Rahul Verma. Basically, we aligned that once if we both of these services and basically, the providers segment grows at some point of time, we will have enough providers in our platform who can start supporting the people who really need the care.
Got it.
So we'll be able to see link both ways, and that's where basically we are scaling. We're scaling at a good pace, and we want to accelerate further because that's the kind of work that we have done, so that we are ready for the scale.
Got it.
Right, and basically that's what we're looking in the coming years.
Right.
See, even when we were raising the funds, right? This was like a couple of years back, and we were like, we knew that we had to reach a few milestones before we go for a serious money. So it was angel, and then we kind of the people who have supported in our journey. We went to, basically them that, hey, here's we are doing a small round. You want to come in at this point of time? What will we do? So it was hardly, I think, 1.5 crores.
Okay.
Right, and basically, that was just to, just to, make sure that, we can continue to our path. It was not like, we knew that at that point we're not ready to scale, because we knew that there are few blocks which we had to put in before the whole, the building is ready to grow. So now, that's where I'm saying that now we're ready to grow. In last 6 months, our revenues have tripled. Right. And
you have grown to that level where 1.5 crore is small, but then for a lot of people out there who are just starting, even 50 lakhs or 1 CR becomes good money to start.
So
healthcare, I
I'm
understand.
sorry if I was trying to, I came across like that. But like you look at the numbers outside, 1.5 crores is nothing, right?
Yeah.
But basically, having said that, I have definitely come ready to. I accepted that when I see a lot of companies who have raised a lot larger sum. Right.
I think that those are part of series that you go through, right? As in.
Correct. I mean, but every every organization have to go through their own journey.
Right.
I mean, right. I
Right.
mean, this what we are saying today. I mean, like I told you, I mean, some investors did tell us, hey, why are you doing this? Chakra and assurance. And I didn't understand that. Why they are saying. They have. I mean, for them also, it's hard to fathom that this complex things can be done. I mean, many a times. I mean, I have been told by a hospital, senior, basically, head of operations, and that, oh, you are saying that you have an HIS system and an EMR system and a patient app and a whole appointment management system, which all under one umbrella. And like, yeah. And he was like, oh, then why are you sitting here? Go to a temple.
Why?
I
Temple?
mean, because it's as complex. I mean, it has not been done before. I mean,
surprising.
And when in 6 months I saw a board outside the hospital that, oh, we are going through challenges in our EMR and HIS integration, so please be, because I told them it's not going to work. Because it's integration of two different systems, especially in healthcare, is not easy. So I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, that I mean, and I know the hard work that the team has put in. My basically architect would come every 2 years. Hey Manish, I think looks like everything we wanted to do is done. And next 2 years, he'll spend day in, day out, weekends together to building the next extension of our product. So I mean, it is fairly complex, right? And that's with a lot of confidence. I mean, that's where I'm saying that we have built something for the world.
Got it. So you said you already opened office in foreign markets, US and Dubai, Middle East.
Bahrain.
How is that doing? Speak
good.
about
So I mean, I think we have to spend more time there. But I mean, we have a few clients already who are using our solution. Right. 2025 we have kept for a lot more foreign solutions. So I think that will of course take its own sweep, because healthcare is very localized, right? And there's one more something different about healthcare. So healthcare is real people, and the doctors basically are trained that every time I have to see an absolutely finished product. MVPs don't work.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So that's one big difference in healthcare compared to other things. Let's say shoes or glasses. You can still go and say, okay, put something over there, put something that still works. But in healthcare, it doesn't. So, but given all these building blocks that we have put in already, right. I think we are by far the fastest to be able to cover the distance that is expected for healthcare. So, and that's what we are banking on as we scale to the next level.
Okay. Yeah. So, sort of help us understand the challenges that you had faced in opening offices abroad, because there will be regulation around healthcare. If I understand.
So regulation is around the platform, and that is around the security. For example, US has HIPAA. Right, but that's something from day zero we had. We didn't want to sell data, to make our living. Ethics was kind of if you have a choice to make that less earning versus selling data. Being ethical. Right, so I think we were very clear from day zero that we would choose to be ethical, and not only, I cannot say that only about me, but even for all the the colleagues that I'm working with, in the organization, they had the same. They understood the difference, and they understand. They accept it. It's a slow journey, but our roots are very strong now.
Hands down, I think ethics has to be the core part of it in any business. Any compromise on the ethics, you're compromising on the whole effort that you're putting towards building the business. That's my view of it.
It's tough, right? That's where again we come back to transactions versus long-term view. So we chose
survival.
Yeah, we chose to have a long-term view, and that's what we are continuing with.
Right. So you also mentioned you have a co-founder with you, right? Tell us about how did this journey of connecting with the co-founder, selection of the co-founder happen? uh, because a lot of people out there want to start, like somebody has a tech skill,
Yeah.
don't have marketing skill.
Right.
Somebody has marketing skill, don't have a tech skill, and more combinations like that, right? So
Right.
how should one go about choosing a co-founder, and how did you go about it?
Right. So I think the complementary skills are very important, and that makes it challenging as well. Because someone who looks at it from the lens of marketing is very different from someone who looks at it from the lens of tech.
Yeah.
Right. But that's where the beauty lies, right? So basically, we should look for complementary skills. We should look for like how they can add to the whole organization. But at the same time, I think I'm a big fan of individual ownership,
Okay.
right? So everyone should know that what's their responsibilities and what do they own. While everyone, of course, has to come together and support whenever required. But this, the moment we dilute the ownership, like this will be done by both.
Yeah.
That's when and especially when as tough as entrepreneurship, right? We choose that maybe the other guy will take care of it, right? So basically, we should look for complementary skills in the partner, in the co-founders. The other thing I have learned again is like intent.
Okay.
Right, so we should look more for the intent than what the person can do it right now.
Okay.
Because we can learn skills.
Correct.
Right?
Agreed.
But the intent is hard to change. Why someone is doing what they are doing?
Got it.
Is there something deeper in it? Right. So I think that's another big aspect of selection before we go for it. And we make mistakes. So I mean, there is no absolute right or wrong way. So I think that's accepting that also is a big thing.
Right.
Right. So I mean, if you believe that this is the best thing that has been done, then so be it. The other thing is I also want to tell all the entrepreneurs that there has to be very well defined clauses for everyone, so that no
Right.
one should be left out there in the lurch.
Yeah.
Right. And co-founder with a significant equity just chooses one day that I don't want to like you anymore. Right. Can kill the whole company even if it's doing well.
In fact, one of the research
Right.
that I happened to go through, people generally say 90-95% startups die before even they reach to a certain level.
Right.
And one of the good amount of contributor to this reason is the compatibility of the co-founders.
Yes.
Not because of the product, not because of something else, just that the guys who started it didn't gel or had that sync, and startup died.
Yeah.
That is one of the major reasons, is how I.
No, it is. See, now I say that any startup is emotionally more demanding than anything.
Yeah.
Right. No one else can understand what let's say an entrepreneur is going through. It's
Right.
very, very hard to
Right.
even come close to understanding that. I that's where I have a lot of respect for anyone who has even tried.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
But at the same time, what you learn through this journey, nothing else can teach you that.
Got it.
Right. So I really hope that everyone should try, give it a shot in this journey, even if they're like you said, 99% it is, then they're more likely to fail than succeed. But still, the journey teaches you enough to have a much better life than anything else. Right.
Right.
So complementary skills, intent.
Why?
Right, and be fair. Right, it should not be that I am from a better school, or and you are not, so you should get lesser than. Be fair, and make it not only like give things to basically as per the value that they are adding. So it has to be the value what you are adding to them.
Right.
But also one thing I've learned is you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise, all of our perception is a personal perception. I may think that you are awesome, but what do you think? And if we have to say something about that, then I mean, it's not only doing it, but also talking about it is also important.
Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. So, Manish, I think we are coming close to the end
Right.
of the podcast. I want to sort of understand and ask you this. How do you see NanoHealth's future coming up? What are your future plans?
Right. No, I mean, I think that we do want to play a major role in basically the growth of health tech in the country.
Sure.
Okay, so with a most integrated solution, the most efficient solution, where basically each of the stakeholders in healthcare can spend more time with the patients, caring about the patient than entering data or collating the information
Right.
together. So I mean, we do want to cover my target is to cover 10% of entire health data in the country.
Wow.
So that should flow through us, and we know the kind of impact that it can create, and that's what we are working towards. So yeah, I mean, and that's for the India, but I mean, as we are moving ahead, we are definitely looking at other countries as well because the problem remains the same.
Got
It's
it.
not
Got
that
it.
I mean, someone may be a little ahead or a little behind, but the problems remain the same, and that's what we are working towards. And the team is still pretty energetic and about the impact. And a very simple message that I give to my team is that imagine this helping you or your parents
Right.
while they are at in a hospital where the solution is being used or outside.
Sure.
And build something that will be useful for you, your family, your friends, and that's a direct message. And if that is able to do, I think the purpose is solved.
Got it. Got it. So I have couple of more
Please.
questions for the viewers,
Right.
From a viewer standpoint.
Right.
But before that, I want to quickly do a rapid fire.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
A rapid fire, okay.
Yeah. Your mantra for staying motivated.
Solve the problem.
Solve the problem. Okay. The most valuable lesson from your failures.
Don't repeat it.
What's one sector you believe will grow exponentially in the next 5 years?
Healthcare.
One healthcare myth you'd like to debunk.
Or doctors are not supportive. I think doctors are fairly supportive if you show the right intent and
Okay.
yeah.
What's one sector that you believe will grow exponentially in next 5 years?
A role of AI, including in healthcare and otherwise, I think will definitely going to change quite a few things compared to what we are doing now. Yeah.
Yeah. So Manish, when you hire people, especially from being a startup, how do you attract talent, and what do you look at when you hire people?
So, while attracting talent, I think we have been lucky enough. So, our message and mission kind of, resonates well with most of the people. And when I'm hiring people, one thing I definitely look for is the intent.
Right.
Is it only money? Is it the quality of work they are looking for? Or is it the impact that they want to create?
Right.
Whatever all of that is okay. Right, but having that intent to solve the problem is very important. I mean, even in our organization, the quality or the efficiency or the intent to solve the problem is way, way more important than just the number of people.
Got it.
So that's where I think the current team, even a small team, has been able to pull off, which I don't believe a much larger team would have been able to do it.
Got it. Where do you see, from a AI implementation standpoint, in healthcare specifically,
Right.
India is standing in comparison to West?
Well, I mean, we see for anything AI, the first step is data,
Right.
digital data. We have limited digital data at this point of time. I mean, we have started capturing it, but still a long way to go to actually make use of it to solve problem. A very small thing. I'll give you an example. So we're talking about cardiovascular risk score. It's called. I mean, in US there's a popular risk score called ASCVD score.
Right.
American Society of CVD score, ACVD score, right? But we don't have anything like that for India,
Right.
right? And basically, then we had to make a choice that which one do we use,
Right.
right? But then we figured that someone had done the research that so they had two scores. One is for whites and the other is for blacks. And someone said that Asians are less likely to for a like a lower ACVD score than a similar black people, right? Black person. So basically, then we said, okay, let's use that. Even if the risk score is, let's say, 1% more, but still at least that gives us an opportunity to do better. I mean, there is no problem with that. So I think our journey has to start with collection of data. Then the AI will follow. While a lot of models are being created, I think they will hit at a certain point when with the lack of data. So, so still, I think there is some room for people to come, join, understand, and then basically go deeper into the whole AI race. But I think amazing times ahead. Sure.
I think you are solving a big problem because, as you said, healthcare data is completely fragmented.
Yep.
And you're kind of putting it together.
Right.
And that's where AI can start sort of using it, and we can leverage that as a whole.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. So that's exactly the goal. I mean, thanks for putting it together in a nice way. But yeah, that's exactly the goal. As we have it, I mean, the kind of insights we are able to bring about is really good. So I mean, there's some things we have done. So once we have all this data, even for our doctors, we are able to give it in a, what we call it the medical summary. It's like one nice way where the data from labs, his own prescription, the radiology reports, all of that kind of coming together and showing it in one nice way. Makes things so much easier for the doctors to take a efficient decision. Otherwise, I mean, imagining a doctor flipping through, this big bundle of reports is not. I mean, it's hard to imagine that. How that can be done at scale.
Okay. One question. If Manish was, say, just coming out of college and fresh, wanting to start something, what is that one thing that you would pick up today?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I would still, if I can find out, like you said, the consolidated or comprehensive data like NanoHealth, I'll spend time on the AI, using AI to kind of make it more meaningful. Because I think this Manish has definitely spent time in putting all this together. I think next Manish has to use this to make it more meaningful for both the patients and the doctors.
Right. So, other than healthcare, if somebody is wanting to start their own startup, right? What sector you think one should choose? What is that you would recommend?
So, like for someone who is just starting, right? See, each of these industries have their own nuances. What we see outside, it's very different from basically once you go deeper into the industry. So I'll really recommend everyone to, spend some time in understanding the nuances of each of these industries. Right. And once you start, understand the nuances, then basically, you kind of start figuring out, the solution for that. One thing that's happening is that all this information over the last 15-20 years, a lot of data has been kind of come together, right? Information has kind of come together. And then people are looking at more efficient way of using that to do something. Right. And basically, and that's where again, the AI comes. Okay. Right. What we have seen is like ChatGPT and others. I mean, just make it, prove to us that hey, it can be done. But still, I think we have to go a long way in making a real impact in our life. Got it. Right. So I really believe that basically understanding or knowing an industry, and that can be any industry which you are really passionate about. I think that's understanding that is first, and then basically the problems are enough. I mean that's worth solving.
Great, Manish. I think phenomenal discussion. A lot of learnings from your experience. I'm sure viewers would take away from this. Thanks for sharing all that you had. While we wish to continue more, I know you're running short on time.
Thank you.